Welcome to the Pengower tutorial. Today, we'll teach you how to create relationships between different data records in your database. The objectives of this video are to teach you what relationships are, to help you understand relationships between two data record types, and lastly, to understand how to make use of this relationship when creating your applications. In the last video, we showed you how to create a simple database with just one type of data record called member. This enables us to record the basic information of our gym members. Now, we're going to extend our database by creating another data record type called employee, which allows us to record information about the staff who work at the gym. Before we start creating relationships, let's quickly go to our builder and create our employee data record. Let's start by opening our previous application. Go to the Applications button, and then under the drop-down option, choose the application First Gym Membership Tracker. You will notice when you log in, you'll be at the Types tab, and you will see the member data record you have created previously. Now, let's create our employee data record. Click on New Type. Name it Employee. Then let's choose an icon for it by clicking on the Select icon. Choose from the library, then a category. Choose an icon color and style, then a variant. This time, when you see this icon, this will be associated with employees. Click on Update to save our data type once you're done. You can see that both employee and member types are listed at the Types sidebar. Also, if you are building an application with a lot of data record types, you can quickly find a type you're looking for by using the search field. Now, let's add the section to our data type. You will remember from the previous videos, whenever we create a data type, we have to add a section. Click on Add Section, then label it Employee Details. Click on the Update button once you're done. Now, like what we did for members, let's add the elements: first name, surname, contact number, email, and employee number by clicking on the New Element button, choosing a name for it, then selecting what type of element we want it to be, and making it an essential field. Then click on the Update button to save. And then lastly, we choose how we want it to appear to our end user. Click on the Update button to save your type. Now, do the same for surname, contact number, and email. You can now see that we have created the elements first name, surname, contact number, and email. Now let's create one more element. Like the members, we need to create an employee number for our trainers. Go back to Employee Details and click on New Element. Then name it Employee Number. Then choose Auto Generate under Type. Click on the Update button once you're done. Then click on Rendering Options. Choose Sequential on options. Use E- as our leading text. Update when you are done. Then click on the Update button again to save our element. We have created all the elements we need for employees. Let us close the tabs we no longer need. Now, let us go back to our employee data type and let us click on Edit Indexes. Then, let's add the elements we just created to indexes. Also, add them to the List Display column as well by clicking on the Add to Display List button. Now, let's add the surname, first name, and employee number to the relationship directly too. Click on Update once you're done. Click on Update again to save our employee data record. Now, let us create actions so that we can access the data records we created for our employees. Go to Actions tab then click on the New Action button. Name it Add New Employee. Then for type, let's choose New Object. Then under Parameters, choose Employee. Click on the Update button once you're done. Let's create another action and name it List Employees. Then choose Open as its type and choose Employee under the parameters. Click on the Update button once you're done. Now, let's include them to our toolbar so we can access it. Go to Toolbars, then click on Administrator Tools on the sidebar. You should now see the actions we just created. Click on the Add New Employee on the Options window, and then let's click on the List Members at the selected window. If we don't do this, actions that we add to the selected window will automatically be added as the last item on the list. We want to put the Add New Employee action right after List Members on the toolbar list by clicking on it twice. Do the same for List Employees. Click on the Update button once you're done. Now that we have added the actions to our toolbar, let us click on the Update Application button to reflect all the changes we have done. Let us launch our application. Go to Views, then click on Administrator View from the sidebar and click on the Launch View button. We are now at our application's login page. Put in your login credentials, which we have created in the previous videos. Once done, press Login. Welcome to your application. You can now see the Add New Employee and List Employees actions that we have just created. Now, let's add an employee record by clicking on the Add New Employee. Let's complete the employee details, and then click on Save once you are done. You can see that our system automatically assigned an employee number to our newly created record. Let us go ahead and add several more employee records. Don't forget to save once you're done. Now that we have added employee data records, let's view them by clicking on the List Employees. Click the Edit button. You can now see our employee data records. We can now see the basic details that we completed before, but it would be nice for us to be able to see which employee is acting as a personal trainer for each member. Rather than having a simple text field in which we manually complete, it would be much more useful if we can select the personal trainer's name from a drop-down list of employees that are already stored in the database. To do that, we will need to create a relationship between a member record type and an employee record type, which will represent the personal trainer relationship between the member and the employee. Let's consider relationships in a little more detail. Now we have two data record types in our database, member and employee. We will need to create a relationship between the member and the employee, which would allow us to identify which employee is a personal trainer for the member. It is also helpful when creating relationships between two data record types to label one side of the relationship as the left side and the other side of the relationship as the right side. When considering the relationship from the viewpoint of the member, we would be looking from the left-hand side towards the right-hand side. And when working in this direction, we could give this relationship a label. Member is personally trained by an employee. If, however, we look at the same relationship from the viewpoint of the employee, we need to label the relationship in the opposite direction from right to left. In this case, we might say the employee is a personal trainer for many members. When thinking about relationships between different data record types in the database, it is helpful to use relationship arrows and labels to visualize how the different types of data records in your database fit together using a diagram. This diagram is called a data model. Looking at this, we can say that we have a many-to-one relationship. Member is personally trained by one employee, but an employee can be a personal trainer for many members. Whenever we are creating relationships between data record types, you are able to define how many records can be linked on each side of the relationship. This is referred to as the relationship cardinality. Let's go back to the builder and create our relationship. To do that, click on the Relationships tab and click on New Relationship. And let us name it Members are trained by an employee. Let's use the data record type that sits on the left hand of the relationship, which is member. And now, let's select the data record type that sits on the right hand of the relationship, which is employee. For the left to right label, let's put in member is personally trained by an employee. Then for the right to left label, let's use employee is a personal trainer for many members. Now, let's specify the relationship cardinality. Here we can see a one-to-one relationship, one-to-many, many-to-one, and many-to-many. Later in these series, we'll teach you how to use all of the different relationship cardinalities. In this scenario, the kind of relationship we have is many-to-one. Click on the many-to-one icon. Click on the Update button once you're done. Since we have created a relationship between members and employees, we can now tie them up in our data records so that we'll be able to identify who among our personal trainers works for each members. To do that, let's go to Types, then click on Members found at the sidebar. Let's add a new section where we can see which employee is working for the member. You might remember that the section is a tab on a data record. Click on Add Section, then name it Training Details. Click on Update once you're done. Then under it, let's add a new element and name it Personal Trainer. Under Types, choose Relationships. A new field should appear named Relationship. Choose Member is personally trained by an employee from the drop-down options. Click on Update once you're done. Then, under Rendering options, let's choose Single Select from the options. Click on Update, then click on Update again to save our element. Now let's click on the Update Application button for the application to show all the changes we just made. Then let's go back to our application and click on List Members. Now let's click on the Edit button on one of the members. You can now see that we have a new tab or section named Training Details. When you click on it, you should see an option to choose the personal trainer assigned to this member. Let us choose a trainer and click on Save. You can also click on the Edit button beside the employee name to edit its personal details. Looking at the employee details, it'll be great if you have the ability to view all of the members that this employee is training. So let's go back to the builder and click on Employee under the Type sidebar. Then, let's add a new section. Let's name it Personal Training Details. Click on Update to save. Then let's add a new element. Let's name it Members. Then under Type, choose Relationship. Then choose Employee is a personal trainer for many members. Click on Update once you're done. Then under Rendering options, choose Read Only. Click on Update. Then click on Update again once you're done. Click on the Update Application button to push all the changes we've made to the application. Then let's go back to our application and click on List Employees. Then click the Edit button beside an employee's name. You can now see a new tab named Personal Training Details. Click on it. You can now see which members are being trained by this employee. You can also click on the member's name to be able to edit the member's detail. Congratulations! You now have learned how to create relationships by linking two data types. To recap, you now have learned what relationships are, understood relationships between two data records, and lastly, how to make use of these relationships when creating your applications. Thank you for listening.